Welcome back to another feedback and review of a replay. Today we have CobbleStone and a Barcode, who's a GM, playing against each other. It is a TVP or a PVT, depending on your preference on how you start it. This is a very interesting game because I haven't watched it at all. I have no idea what happens. Both players do run into supply blocks, so I don't want to jump. I don't want to do too much analysis. I don't know what they've done. As we always start out, here's the beginning of it. Let's go ahead and jump on in and see what happens. Sorry. Excuse me if I'm a little weird with my throat. I started a new medical thing going on, and I took the shot today, and it's not loving me. So, in the lower left-hand corner, we have CobbleStone, who is part of... he's a Protoss, part of the Heroes clan. And on the upper right-hand corner, we have Barcode as a Terran, who is talking some trash. Both players opening up pretty quickly. Normal, this is a GM versus basically GM. They're about 5k MMR for both of them. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up through the beginning of the game a little bit, because... Sorry. Hair on my tongue. There we go. Because both of these players are going to be able to execute it in a way that makes it so that they do a really good job. If you want to watch build orders, they're up here. I always try and place that out. The probe comes in scouting, just checking the timings of gases, seeing if there's an expansion, and then blocking it as best they can. And then, of course, this Terran looks like they want to expand into the forward position, natural versus backside. Protoss on the other side of the map is doing it in the gold base and has blocked off the run path, except for one hex here, for making it so that they can block for a Reaper coming across the map, which we can see. The Reaper came out a little bit, poking around. They're looking for any kind of aggressive behaviors, any of that kind of stuff. I have no idea who wins, but I do know that this is going to be a game that's going to be interesting for a lot of us to watch. We have a reactor coming out with a factory behind it. Second gas going up. As soon as you start your factory, you want your second gas bunker, making sure they're protected. The Adept does not get in. Very, very, very close. That was really, really, really tight. As you can see, the Adept's already lost half their health. They're going to just be annoying opening and closing this, making it so that the SCVs or any units that come out of the factory and or the barracks are going to have a back and forth and are going to have to deal with some stuff. Marine comes out to kill the Adept. Adept goes ahead and goes for the Mule, misses the kill. Losses are just 100 resources, as I believe that's the Reaper going down, versus 175, which would be a Probe and an Adept going down. As you can see, the supply depot is going up, making sure they're not getting supply blocked. Run by, going in and poking at the gold base back here, which is awfully annoying if you are... Does get a single probie. Doesn't kill it, but or kill more than one. Stalkers hanging out. This is going to be good protection. Drops moving around. There's some stalkers kind of hunting down for it. Who knows where that's going to be. We're going to go ahead and slow this down because this is where it starts to get interesting, I think. I did minimize the time on the game. I know that for those of you that are super attentive...
Don't touch, please.
Weird.
Please don't touch without asking. Okay?
I don't know why this is doing that. Sorry about that. I downloaded a file and it decided to do that. All right, back to what we were looking at. Today has not been my day, has it? Protoss sends all of their stalkers across the map, leaving their gold base completely vulnerable. Has a warp gate over here. Interesting situation where we have a warp gate, a warp prison being pushed. CobbleStone losing... I think there's another probe or two that went down throughout this. Blink Stalker getting ready to go into the main. Tank sieged up already with a Banshee. Sees that there's nothing defending that gold base. You have a gold run by. We're going to get more warp prisons. The Hellions only have 2 kills. This is a lot of stalkers to deal with. I hope that the Terran is positioned properly in order to deal with this. Looks like we're going to have a tight choke. Tank 1 going down. Tank 2 trying to make shots. He's able to get some damage going on. Pulls the SCVs almost immediately. Banshee's there. Tight choke. Most of the army is blocked out. Got this new Stalkers being warped in. Banshee's under attack. He's going to take that out. Bunch of SCVs and a Marauder with a Dream. Tank moving forward. Marines coming forward. Marauder that's been produced. Just all in all, trying their best to get over here and do their best to defend. War Prism is still hanging out. They still got Blink, so right now, everything that's going down is just a ton of damage. In comparison to the other side of the map, there is a Shield Battery overcharge, losing a handful of units. Killing, it looks like 1 or 2 SCVs. Medevac going down, and then it looks like the Protoss is just going to be here, denying mining at the main, killing workers as it can. This tank doing a really good job of holding the main. So if we go to units, we have 36 workers to 22. Generally speaking, in a high-level play against GM-level players, this tank going down is going to be like the nail in the coffin. We're going to be in a situation where players going to have nothing to really handle it. Uses stem if they had the health on it. 4 Stalkers still alive. War Prism still present, going to be able to produce more units. Doesn't have any threats on the other side of the map. Decides to not actually go ahead and build more units, but is just taking out whatever army it can. Tank sieges up with Banshee. This is a really, really, really tough spot for the Terran. They're down by a lot, but they do have mules. Mules are very powerful. And the Stalkers are trying to kill more workers because this is going to be death throws. Okay. So what was just going on right there was this Warp Prism was trying to do basically the equivalency of Blink Micro against the Banshee's shots. You can dodge Banshee shots, any projectile weaponry. Marines, their fire is scan hit. So what scan hit is basically you target it, it hits the trigger, it does the damage. There's no delay in the time that it passes. If you look, the Banshee had like a trail and a unit thing that went across, and the Banshee or the Warp Prism picked up both the Stalkers in the time that it was traveling. So basically, he prevented that damage from ever occurring. Just like when the Stalkers' lasers come out, you'll see them come out, and they don't just instantly show up. They travel. You can see them going across. Well, if you could pick up your unit in the amount of time that travels, or you blink with it, it's not going to take the damage. It's just not going to get hit because then it never connects. Because the way that the hit functions is it's trying to target down this specific location for where that is, and the damage is going to be placed on it at that point. Ooh, that tank was way out of position. The Stalkers overreached, trying to kill it, but oh man, that's annoying. You got Stalkers at the front, you got a War Prism in the back. This is a very challenging position to be in to try and manage this kind of army. A little bit slow, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed it up a little bit. You can see Immortals are coming out, Templar, he's got charge already. I know that I didn't say anything about that as it was happening. War Prism tried to poke in, was pushed away pretty easily. Stalkers come in, get a couple of Marine kills. See him blink away. Keeps all 3 of them alive, just taking some shield damage, a little bit of hull damage as well. Stalkers go home, has a ginormous army ready to do with this. Ooh, nice snipe for that OBS. Again, I haven't seen this yet. I'm just literally going along where I'm seeing stuff. This War Prism and Stalker killing, just making sure this base is denied. 3rd is going up. Gold is starting to get mined out here. 4th base is up, so it doesn't matter. Well, it does, because the number of workers and all that kind of stuff. But it doesn't matter from the perspective of where we are in this game. Both players getting ready to face off. We have a very large Protoss army that can come from 2 angles while the Terran is on the ramp. Loses a little bit of army there before anything else. Widow Mines taking out some Zealots. The Zealots coming forward, charging, Archons. Lots of stuff that's really low health. Lots of SCVs going down again. Continued production of units. Terran is struggling to deal with the army. There's the end of the game. I guess talking trash doesn't end up working out really well for you. All right. This is a very, very, very high-level game. So my analysis of what people could have done better or worse is going to be kind of thin. I'm going to go ahead and slow this down. I just want to have it so we have something playing on in the background. I'm going to go ahead and show our... Let's do our Protoss. We're just going to do their camera hotkeys. Basically, the Protoss found an opportunity to do some damage and was able to sneak in and look at what was going on. Both players did a pretty good job of scouting, making sure they knew what their opponent was doing, had an idea of the information that was available to them. Obviously, they're GMs. They should be able to say, oh, my opponent's got this gas at this time. I'm going to be able to know that this is happening. Oh, the Adept is running across the middle of the map. Ran into my Reaper. My Reaper died. Oh no. And I, of course, did not follow that very closely. I think that we just saw that happen, actually. No, okay. Oh, they're going to have a Stalker at home, whatever it is. Knowing the timings of when gas is, it's because the Reaper poked out and he bounced back and forth against it, using his shade and then killing the Reaper when it came out to try and push him away so they couldn't get in as easily, and of course being annoying. Sometimes people just move command versus attack command backwards, or they okay. Regardless, the Adept ends up killing this Reaper before it gets back into the bunker, which is what we just saw there. That was really good control and management. But things that we actually saw that worked really, really well. The wall off that the Protoss put together was very, very challenging for... I honestly would have probably gone for that Marine and shaded out. That way they would have been Marine short, you would have still kept your Adept, and you would have been in a situation where you were able to continue to be annoying and get additional information. So, slight miscontrol in that sense. But back to what I was saying, what people did well and did not do well. The Protoss positioned themselves wonderfully for all of their defense. Terran did the exact same thing. The difference is that the Protoss information would require the Terran to pull SCVs to survive, which put them behind with regards to income, and then was able to barely do any damage because of the defenses that were put in place, specifically the shield battery in the gold mineral line, and was able to continue to power up and even found the exact timing of when that was coming in before the probes were there. The probes, there were opportunities for the Hellions to do more damage, but not enough that it was worth actually throwing away the Hellions like what you saw. He lost one. That was that. Couldn't do anything about it. 3 Stalkers does a really good job of shutting this down. There is a point in time where you say, you know what, I see what they have. It's time for me to pull it back, and you just don't lose the army. So 2 strikes against the Terran. One being their defense required a pull of workers, which it's not a terrible strike. That's like an expected play. And then the other one is they kept some units on the map a little bit too long. They could have brought the Hellions home earlier. They didn't really get a true value out of them, other than maybe the scouting information after they saw what's going on. This drop also got scouted, unfortunately, and the perfectly, so terribly timed, unfortunately, for the Terran. Again, things you can't really predict and take care of. They basically trapped them in there, and they were just in trouble. Like the Hellions right now, they could have done this, which is great, and then the Stalker separates, and then what are you going to do? You're in trouble. And because you don't have 3 Hellions and that shield battery's there, you're just not going to make any value happen. And we already know that. You saw what happened in the game. And obviously the player knew it. They pulled back, right? Go and hit E. You'd see they pulled back and they ran around. I don't know if I would have run around like that. I probably would have seen if I could get anything in the main done. Try and pull these Stalkers a little bit over, and then be able to drop your Marines at the same time. Little slight changes I would have made. Mind you, I'm not good enough to even get to that point. This is a great hold, but they didn't have the defenses to handle the tank. There wasn't enough army up here. They had enough down here, just in case. I would have pulled this a little bit earlier. These Marines needed to go. Rally, unfortunately, was into the army. Yes, they have it backwards, but because of the depth here, they SimCity their tank forward. Again, slight minor things. I understand why people do what they do with regards to positioning. This is about as bad as it can get with regards to what is happening, but they did a really good job considering what was happening. Other side of the map, you can see that they ended up fighting, killing a couple of SEVs. Not having a medevac here really hurts. I don't know if I would have positioned there, but I get why they ended up in the situation they ended up. They were a minor, oh, you have a half second to go over there. Realistically speaking, I would have probably had something over here. This would have all been a lot better under control if you had a supply depot right here, or supply depot here, or something like that. You would have seen them coming. It's the only change I really would have made. And yes, it would make it so your supply depots are vulnerable. I am not discounting that in any way, shape, or form. There's just a lot of... this happens, right? You're just going to get in a situation where your opponent finds a hole, and you get capitalized on. And then because of that whole, the game spirals. That's the difference between a GM, a Masters player, the difference between a high level GM and a champion level GM. Like, these are the tiny little things that they're looking for. So the differences in skills and abilities that I'm talking about are things that most of us won't ever have to interact with. You can see this happening where they made a slight mistake not picking up perfectly. You watch that happen in real time. Just all those kind of wonderful things. That being said, let's go ahead and jump back to the screen here. Supply blocks happen. You need to do your best to avoid them. This could have been what it was that made it so that the Protoss was able to take advantage. I think this was actually right around... there wasn't actually anything going on right here. So not having those supply blocks could have made a difference. Having an extra couple, 3 Marines or Marauder and a couple of other things. Supply back here, the player had already won the game. It's okay if you forget little things like that. Regardless, GG's to both players, and best of luck in your future.